Well, a rough opener for the 76ers, losing 108-95 here in Toronto to the Raptors. Marc Narducci, Keith Pompey, and Keith, when we start on this, first of all, what can you say about Kawhi Leonard? 45 points, 11 rebounds.
It was amazing. I mean, it was just a brilliant performance by Kawhi. I mean, you look at it, this tied his playoff career high. It also tied his career high. I mean, you look at him, and he was by far the best player on the floor. You look at him, and you say to yourself, how come he's not an MVP candidate? And then you realize he missed 22 games. But I'm telling you, Kawhi Leonard put on a heck of a show tonight.
Yeah, and Pascal Siakam had 29 points. The two of them had 74 points. That was only 21 fewer than the whole Sixers.
I know, and they outscored the Sixers starting lineup, 74-71. I mean, you know, when you look at it, you know, I did a podcast for tomorrow with Mike Lee and Marcus Hayes, and they're saying, like, you know, they could correct that. And I'm like, I get what you're saying, but they were scoring at ease. They were scoring at will. And you look at it and you say, how? Like, how are you going to stop a guy from scoring that easily? And the thing is, if you try to stop those two, it could open up things for the other guys, you know? So, it was a heck of a performance, and it's a tough matchup for the Sixers.
Yeah, and after the game, Joel Embiid tipped his hat to both Leonard and Siakam.
Two really good players. Their two best players showed up. I did tonight. I gotta do a better job, but I have a lot of respect for those guys, and they showed up. They did a good job. So next time, you know, maybe just like they're doing to me and double teaming me, maybe throw some double teams and you know, have a better game plan.
Keith, I wrote that the Sixers, I didn't think were aggressive enough offensively. I thought they were settling for too many jumpers and just not taking it to the basket enough.
I agree. I mean, you got to get Embiid down on the block. You also have to have guys driving to the lane and doing stuff. Ben Simmons, you know, what he shot, 7 for 8, something like that. I mean, he did what he does as far as getting the dunks in transition. But you're right, it just seems like they weren't aggressive enough, especially late in the half-court set. You know what I mean? They get in this game. The one thing about Embiid is, you know, he shot 5 for 18. He struggled. He had 16 points. But, you know, he says that he's a top 5 player in this league. He says he is the MVP. He's a defensive player. So, you know, I'm looking forward to seeing what he's going to do Monday night. I'm looking forward to see if he can step up and show everyone why he's regarded as the best center in the league.
Yeah, one other thing, J.J. Redick was just on fire in the third quarter, 5 for 7 from three-point range. But Keith, in the first half, he's 0 for 4, and they get down 9.
Yeah, and, you know, he scored all 17 of his points, you know, in the second half. And you're right. I mean, some of those threes he made, he looked uncomfortable. I mean, he missed in the first half. He looked uncomfortable. He was 0 for 4 all on threes, like you said. He has to make those shots early on because, you know what, when he started coming back, like when he started hitting shots, they were down. Like they were down like double digits, and he's bringing them back. But, you know, like the momentum in the game to me was decided in the first half. Now, the Sixers went on a run, but the game was decided in the first half, and that's when J.J. needs to make those shots.
Game 2 must game for them, or?
You know, I'm not going to say game 2 is a must win, but it would really help their cause a little bit. It would be a big confidence boost for them. Because, you know, let's face it, you know, they're 0-14. Well, they lost their last 14 games in this building. They lost, 22 of the last 25 games here, or something like that. 22 or 25 in this series. Yeah. So, you know, if you're the Sixers, you know, it's one of those things where, you know, you really want to get a win desperately, but I don't think it's quite a must-win. I think, like, you know, if they go down 0-2, you could say, okay, they won their 2 games at home. But if they don't win game 3, then it's crazy. It's going to get hectic for them.
Well, the Sixers afterwards in the locker room said they will bounce back. We will see Monday night, 8 o'clock. So for Keith Pompey, this is Marc Narducci for the Philadelphia Inquirer.